Good morning. It's an honor and a real privilege for me to stand in front of this audience, this industry in particular, being the novice that I am. I've only joined the video gaming industry officially in April of this year. From a previous life, I have fond memories of being in Edinburgh by hosting the MTV Europe Music Awards here several years ago, and being introduced to the concept of horizontal rain, which causes no end of problems being in a tent. I also embarrassed myself hugely dancing with Justin Timberlake in the club underneath the Scotsman Hotel, but I digress. The title of my talk today is a question. Is the time right for video gaming television? Hard on its heels is another question. Will TV do for video gaming what MTV did for music? Obviously, that is of particular interest to me. I started with MTV 23 years ago when there was no more than 3 people and a logo in a suitcase. My role was initially to plant the flag for MTV across Europe, ultimately getting the channel into 130 million homes out there. And as CEO of Jinx TV, I have the mother of all Groundhog Day experiences ahead of me. The answer to the first question is an unequivocal yes. Video gaming television's time has definitely come. I wouldn't be standing here in front of you if I didn't firmly believe in that. And by video gaming TV, what do I mean? I mean a dedicated, full, 24/7 channel that is distributed across the world. To give you my reasons why, I'll be reviewing the current state of the video gaming industry, if I may, from a TV point of view. And I will be sharing with you some of the hot-off-the-press research that we have commissioned at Jinx. I'll also be making a major announcement about our UK channel, and I'll give you a sneak preview of what that's going to look like, so hold on to your hats for that. I also want to take a brief look at where video gaming TV has gone wrong in the past and how Jinx TV is going to be very different. As for that question about music TV and video gaming, the answer is yes, there are similarities, and that video gaming TV can be a major advantage for the industry, just as music TV was for the music industry, but there were significant differences, which I'll talk about throughout my talk. The time is right for video gaming TV for several reasons, and this conference is one of them. I used to travel up to Edinburgh for the International TV Festival, and it really pleases me to see that there is this overlapping event taking place between interactive and TV for the first time, as Chris was talking about. These two industries have been approaching one another for some time, with video games becoming ever more sophisticated and TV wanting to become ever more interactive. I have a quote here from Broadcast magazine, which is the sort of MCV of the TV industry from last week's edition. A guy called Matt Locke, who is the commissioning editor for new media for Channel 4. And he talks about things like, in particular, games have been a blind spot in the TV industry. Games are going to become a really significant part of the media and cultural landscape in the future. I would say it's already so today. But gamers display the kind of patterns of attention that we just don't understand. And he concludes to say, the industry hasn't looked at gaming as a commercial or creative opportunity, which is a huge error. That's his quote last week in Broadcast in a debate about the future of TV. So the convergence is perfect. And so much what I heard yesterday was also reason enough. I got a powerful impression of this industry. We heard from Chris about I plans, G plans, N plans. He talked, maybe you should talk about a TV plan. We heard from Ray Maguire about 3D, something very close to Jinx's heart. It was an education. It's quite difficult to get to grips with that subject from a technological perspective. And he did a good expose on that, and we will follow up with him definitely as a result of it. Sean Jumgruel played Biggles, we heard about, and told about gaming being an art, and the 74 million minutes 74 million hours a month of code play that is going on, and the long relationship that people have with games. Something I will come to in a second. Paul Hayden talked about the $100 billion value of the industry, and that the fact that of the 44 public companies in gaming, only 3 were from the West, and that we should all prepare for an invasion from the East. Igor delighted us, Igor, the founder of Doodle Jump, delighted us with comparing the development and the rollout of Doodle Jump to episodical TV, another link between TV and gaming, and how TV drove the sales of Doodle Jump. And then in the end, there was the big debate, which is fascinating to see, won narrowly by the publishers as long as they change. There are many other reasons. Let me show you the ones that jumped out at me when we were doing our market entry research. And please forgive me, I'm going to show you some slides, and I go through them really fast, because I'm sure you've seen some of this stuff before, but it jumped out at us from a TV perspective. So the first slide, gaming is no longer niche. Obvious to you, not so obvious necessarily for people in the TV industry. So a big point, it is no longer niche. It's played by an enormous range of demographics across the board. Some length of play, of course, is influenced by availability of time, as you can see with the younger demographic, but a massive spread of audience and an absolute high percentage of people playing games. Then there's the multitude of platforms as a third reason. And the platform seems to be expanding. Then there is a great variety of games that go across the genre, and it seems to be expanding equally. And then Sean mentioned this yesterday, the relationship that people have with games is something not to be underestimated. If 12 years that an adult player, and you heard Sean's list of games he was playing and he went throughout, that is a long-term relationship that people have been building with games, and that is valuable in itself from a TV perspective. And it results in gaming being an absolute significant part of the media consumption, the media mix, with it sort of being on a par with radio. This is a 2009 study, but last week Ofcom came out with this slightly psychedelic chart, but it shows you the kind of the yellow band being games, the sort of media mix in a typical person's day. So it starts at 6 o'clock in the morning, goes to 6 o'clock in the morning on the time scale, and you see the big blue bar is terrestrial TV viewing, and you see all the other media being consumed alongside it, with gaming playing a significant part. Another reason why the marriage of video gaming TV could be such a happy one is the quality of the images used in video gaming today. The other day I was looking at a clip from Lara Croft in the mid-90s, and if we can play the video on the left, please. Apparently groundbreaking in its day, but if you compare it to this clip, the quality is almost unrecognizably improved. And from a TV point of view, I cannot stress enough to you that it's impossible to underestimate the significance that this picture quality has, even in standard definition, as you've seen it here, let alone in HD and 3D, which are revolutionizing TV viewing. The fact that we can now see games in such brilliant quality as Heavy Rain over there opens up a real possibility for making TV that lets you into these games, offering great viewing experiences in itself. Our own recent research also strongly confirms that the time is right for video gaming television. Conducted for us this month by leading media agency Sparkler, it indicates a huge appetite for this type of television. 43% of our sample agreed that they were surprised that there is no video gaming channel on TV. Even more significantly, 35% of the sample agreed with the statement, "I can imagine watching a gaming channel on TV." 10% of the sample said that they strongly agreed with this statement. Now, 35% of the TV audience in the UK equates to over 12 million viewers. These days, that is the kind of audience you'd expect for an exceptional program, such as the World Cup final, though being Dutch, that's not an event I want to dwell on for too long. Let's not get too carried away here. It's only research, but it does give us a real indication of the kind of pent-up demand there is for a video gaming television channel. So who are the third of the population who sees themselves as watching a video gaming television? Well, they love gaming, obviously. It's almost twice as important as for the overall sample, so no surprise. 84% have been interested in video games for over 5 years. Interestingly, a majority of them, 54%, say they play with other people online or in person, which bucks the stereotype that is built up on the TV side of the industry of the solitary player. It suggests that there's real appeal for interacting with others through TV and associated platforms. Our magic 35% of potential viewers are playing a diverse range of games. Not only first-person shooters, which narrowly are the favorite, but also adventure, driving, puzzle, role-play, and sports, all scoring very highly. They lead multi-screen lives, play games on several platforms, and are heavily into gadgets and new technology. This is, I think, particularly important when we're looking forward to the new resolution TV formats that I mentioned earlier. As you see from this slide, those who imagine themselves watching video gaming TV are more inclined towards HD than the overall sample, and massively more so in terms of 3D. In fact, our potential viewers, are almost 40% more interested in 3D than the average person. And it does really focus the attention on the huge potential of this medium and underlines how gamers could be at the vanguard of this development. Finally, let's take a look at how this sample breaks down in terms of the time that they spend gaming. Forgive these labels, these are our labels, they're probably not true industry parlance. I'll get used to it as I go along, but we've labeled them light, engaged, and hardcore. As you can see, we've got broadly equal subgroups. Light, engaged, and hardcore. Hardcore gamers play over 9 hours a week. They aren't the largest group. Light gamers are playing under 4 hours a week. They are all interested in the latest video gaming news, especially hardcore gamers, almost 2/3 of whom say they want to stay abreast of the new games and developments. For Jinx, of course, the hardcore gamers will be the sort of bullseye demographic of the channel. But the art lies in attracting the circles around the bullseye, the engaged gamers and ultimately the light gamers. We noted significant differences in the age of the subgroups. Light gamers having fewer people under 17 and more over 55s, although going by Sean's charts yesterday, if you're over 45 like I am, you're not even on the charts anymore. But we discovered that 55s and overs are still heavily into game playing, though being light gamers. They prefer different TV shows. Light gamers are twice as interested in drama as hardcore gamers, but less interested in sport. They play different games. For example, only 6% of light gamers play shoot-'em-up games as opposed to 21% of the hardcore group. Light gamers are 10 times more interested in party games than hardcore gamers, of course. I won't go on, but you can see that there's a real potential here for TV in making very different types of TV and different types of content around very different segments of the overall gaming population. Now, at this point, I'm sure some of you are sitting there saying, all well and good, video gaming TV has been tried before, and it's not been much to write home about. So why is Jinx going to be different? True, there have been several attempts at video gaming TV. There was Giga in Germany, G4, X-League. Some of them failed. Others have had to reposition their programming completely, adding shows like Lost to their lineup and losing